Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Morning Hustle. It is a woman who has a brand new project out. It's called It Was Good Till It Wasn't. And at this point, I do feel like the quarantine only happened so she can make music videos. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise one time for Kehlani. Yo, well, welcome aboard. And yo, you have really been using this quarantine time to the utmost level of dopeness.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, the new project, It Was Good Till It Wasn't. So much to unpack here. Got a chance to listen to the album before you jumped on. And the first thing I want to know, what's going on the other side of that wall?
So the other side of that wall is whatever you can come up with for it to be, because clearly whatever I'm looking at is so crazy and distracting that it's made me cry, and I've stopped whatever I'm doing and stopped focusing on my own mess behind me in my head to see what's ahead of me. So it's kind of that metaphor that, like, is the grass really green on the other side? Like, I can go deal with my own shit, but there might always still be, like, craziness ahead of me. As hard as it is to leave what's going on with you and what's going on in your past, like, it can still be crazy no matter what, however you look at it.
Yeah, I thought it was cool and listening to the album, the different skits that you have in between that kind of set the tone and keep the story going.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Those are really fun to make.
Yeah.
And to ask for.
Especially Megan Thee Stallion. And then I love the Belong to the Streets one, because it's kind of like everyone's just gossip. And it's like, well, if you don't want your business out there, then you shouldn't put it out there. I mean, can you speak a little bit to some of these skits and the setup to the next song?
Well, the Belong to the Streets was kind of like me encapsulating the conversation that I hear around my name sometimes from people who aren't interested in the music, and they just kind of talk about what's going on outside of the music, you know, in the public eye or my personal life. It was kind of like I was just eavesdropping on a conversation about myself, and it's stuff that I read all the time. It's stuff that, like, I just see, like, I could post music and that's the response that I get back to it. So I kind of just wanted to embrace that and put that on there as a lead into the Everybody Business song, because I felt like it just kind of like it let people know how I feel about it hearing it. So.
You do a good job of that, even on your Twitter, because like you'll retweet stuff that people say, and kind of you play along with it essentially, or you know, if they want to come at you, you bring it to them. It's like, okay, cool, y'all want to play? Let's play. What can you do? Just embrace it.
Do you think that a lot of people choose to say these things or belong to the streets or whatever the case because more so you live out some of your relationships in a more public matter? Like, you know, you post some stuff from your relationship, so they take it and run with it.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think people look at the logistics of why it always ends up being the case like that. I grew up in the public eye. I've been who I am since I was super young. I first came on any type of scene at 13 years old, and then again at 16 years old, and again at 18, 19 years old. I've been, you know, growing up publicly. And so people have always kind of been, I don't want to say nosy, but just very interested in my personal life. And I'm also, on the other hand, very interested in doing regular girl things. Like, I want to go with my significant other to the movies, and I want to go to regular dates. And we run the risk of every single time we doing that, if we aren't already announced that we aren't already in the public world, like, people getting to run with a narrative before we do. People getting to post a picture. Oh, I seen Kehlani and so at the movies. This what it is. This what's going on. And all of a sudden, it's just this big crash on my world. Versus if I'm able to just say it myself, because I know we're gonna get caught going to a friend's birthday party or going out to enjoy a night in the club. Like, I would much rather just say it myself. And even then, some of those times have been someone caught us, someone hit us up, like, girl, I'm about to put this out. I'm just letting you know. And I'm like, well, fuck it. Let me just go ahead and like try to do it.
Right.
Hey, it is what it is. And then also the factor of people will always say what they want to say, because any male especially that I'm anywhere near, they're going to say that.
Yeah.
Like, all the articles today came out about how Drake helped me name my album, and it was based off a conversation we had at his house. But there's my entire team went over to his house, you know, with
and people like, what you doing at his house, girl?
Right, like, we're all in the kitchen having this conversation. My manager was there when he said that. My videographer, my assistant, my little girl, like, all of us there when we have this conversation. But when you look in the comments, it's here Kehlani goes again, or like, now Kehlani messing with Drake, and Kehlani, it's just like a whole, like, y'all, it's just my point.
Is there any relationship that you feel like the media has ruined that if it wasn't out in the public, y'all still would have been doing well?
I can't say that any of the relationships were single-handedly ruined by the public. I think that would mean that the relationship might have been really weak to begin with. I mean, the relationships that failed because of internal issues. I can't blame any of them on, either of our status or anything related to the public. They were all like mess ups internally. So
got you. Now on the album, one of the records I dug too was Bad News, and there's a line you got on there where you say, "I know all your stories from your tattoos." Now, what's the most interesting story about a tattoo that you have on your body? Because you're a walking piece of art, and I always wondered what the meaning behind some of your tattoos were.
Interesting stories. Let's see. God, I have so many. I don't know. Oh, I have one on the back of my leg that says Today is the best day ever. And it started because that was a saying I started telling myself when I was depressed to get me in the habit of saying something positive every single day. Because every day is today, at some point in the day is today. So every day I would wake up and be like, you know what, today is the best day ever. And it's something me and my friend started saying. So I got it written in handwriting, and then my friend actually got a matching one. So I really love that one a lot.
That's cool.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. What about your first tattoo?
But the first tattoos that I got,
Did you cover them? Because I covered my first tattoo.
My knuckles when I got them at the park when I was 16 years old. And I got them stick and poke style. So my homegirl just sat there with like a needle and like a little puddle of ink, just like
Oh
doing
my
this.
God.
Yikes.
During lunchtime at school, and then it leaked over into like the first period after lunch, and the teacher came out the school and came to the park across the street and was like, "You definitely in trouble, and you out here getting tatted, you're wilding."
You tattoos now in real life, or you was just a practice specimen she tried it on when y'all were both young?
She definitely doesn't do tattoos. It's just like, like picked up and learned how to do it. Was like, "Hey, look, I want to do this," and I was like, "Yeah, I want to be tatted someday, go crazy."
That's awesome.
Oh my God, that is crazy. Oh man.
So,
Kehlani, if you don't mind, Kehlani, if you during the quarantine, now I know you have a creative process. How has that changed for you now that you've had to be at home more and inside? Has it helped, or have you seen a shift? Or how has that been creating and writing and creating music?
Well, I'm a homebody in general. Like I'm very inside to the point where when I come outside, people that be outside are always like, "Kehlani, what? Like, look who's outside," and make a big deal. And I'm like, "I know, I can't believe you even take me home." But I haven't been doing much creating music while I've been in the quarantine. I've been focused on creating the videos. We shot the album cover in my backyard. We planned the entire rollout and did all the rollout in my backyard. We completely transformed my garage from like a storage space to like, it's a recording studio on one side. It's my video editing studio and I guess production company headquarters on the other side. And then we got all of our photo shoots set up in the back so that we took all the press photos and like stuff for a rollout in the garage. So we just sit in that super hot garage every day and have sat on YouTube University and learned how to do it ourselves. And that's why I'm super connected to this project, because everything has been just me and my photographer Bree, like doing everything, and it's been hard as hell, but it's been super rewarding.
It seems like that's what help keeps it real and authentic. I mean, speaking of what you just said about your homebody, you don't go out much. On Hate the Club, a lot of people get to a point where they hate the club, and you said, "I only came because I know you'd show up." Now, who was the last person that got you out of the house to go to the club?
Oh, I don't even remember. Do you even remember the club? You guys?
No, we don't.
No one remembers.
I don't know where.
What is a club?
I don't know who the last person to get me out the house was. I think I might have just, I like all these little really weird quirky spots in LA, like all the little speakeasies, because they're just like, I prefer the bar over the club anyways. So really I should have said the bar, but really I was talking about like a specific party that happens in LA. But yeah, I don't remember, but I just remember like we went somewhere quiet. I think we went to go because we celebrated finishing the album. So we had finished the album like literally the week before quarantine kind of like beginning started. Like, so I think we went out that night and just went somewhere really small, like
The
maybe
Dime?
like LA.
You said you like you like going to bars. What's your drink of choice?
I like spicy margaritas.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Either
Okay.
that or I'm just taking straight tequila shots because if I want to get drunk, I'm not ever finishing like mixed drinks. They're too sweet, it's too sugary. Like I never make it through. I'm full like sitting down like this was a workout. But shots, I'm a shots girl all day, and we can have all the fun.
But what about the Don Julio? You said the Don Julio made it feel food for you. Is that a break in the case of emergency?
That's a killer.
Shots.
The club sitting down with the bottle. Like I might have the bottle myself.
So we seen a video with you and Tiana Taylor, and it got a little spicy in that video, like the margaritas. So, so have you ever had like one too many, and you got your friend next to you, and because you've been pretty open about dealing with both women and men. You ever start to fill up on your friend and maybe kiss a friend and be like, oh shoot, sorry, the next day.
I don't. I definitely don't fill up my friends.
Right.
I've definitely taken girls I liked. We go out to the club. We have a great time, and fun things happen. I'm 25 years old. I've definitely made out at the club. If that's what you're asking me, I probably have a maker outer actually. Yeah.
Are you the quarter when it comes to like the if you say you take a woman out, so would you like plan a date for the woman and stuff like that?
Typically the more forward woman in the equations. Typically, usually I plan the dates. I usually pick them up. I usually be like, I'm so excited to show you this place. But that might just be because I know the coolest spots. I don't know.
She's plugged. Now, Serial Lover, another favorite record of mine off the joint. And I'm trying to figure out what the clean record would even sound like. Live hard, fuck harder. I'm all about it.
I love that line.
You said you got bodies you take to the grave. You know what I mean? Like, you're speaking to a lot of people's sensibilities right there. Now, there's some people who bounce from relationship to relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not even in our culture, but, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Like, his wife died. He went from one chick to another chick. What is the longest single run that you've had, as Kehlani? Like, do you feel like you go from relationship to relationship?
I feel like I've had a tendency to in the past like years, for sure. Just being so hyper visible, you can imagine how many people come forward trying to get to know me. Which I think people don't consider about, being in my position as to why I've gotten into so many situations. But it's like I always have somebody that seems like it makes sense and it would be okay to get to know, and then we just both tend to feel a lot and things go faster from there. But maybe like a couple years ago I was single for like a good almost 2 years, just very hyper focused on just like around the time after Sweet Sexy Savage, my first album came out, and like I lived in New York for a year, and then I moved back to LA. That entire time I was single. It was nice. It was great. And then you meet people and you want to fall in love and you let it happen. You let people take you on cute dates, and that's what happens.
What makes you so trusting? Because I feel like in this position where you do know that you are the girl, you're the it girl, and then you do have all these guys and women or whatever that's trying to get to know you a little better. What makes you not put your guard up? I actually love that about you, because it means that you're able to love and forgive and stuff like that. But with me, I would damn so be like, no, why are you trying to get to know me? You know what I mean? You give them a chance.
I mean, I think I would say, I think I have a good judge of heart. I don't know if I have a good judge of character, because character and heart can be different. Because character sometimes only dictates, people's decision making or honesty levels or loyalty levels. But I feel like I always go by the heart. Like, do they have a really, really good heart? Does it seem like they're really, really loving and kind, no matter like kind of the layers you have to peel back on top of it? Some of them I know looking from the outside, it seems like I might have dated some very interesting choices, but I can say that across the board, they all have had really, really, really big hearts.
Right.
So I think that I just take my chances, and I'm really confident in my ability to rebuild myself and to forgive and to love again, and to honestly just like take that and mold it and transform it and what is it when you're like alkaline? When you do
I don't know big words.
I know about alkaline diets, alkaline water.
Alkaline batteries.
Fine. Okay.
You transform it into something else, and I know I'll be able to make music out of it forever. So I don't ever get too scared.
Would you ever, like, if you could take one of those exes and be like, I'll throw the whole relationship away, who would that be?
Not anyone you guys know.
Okay.
Good answer.
I think every single relationship, good or bad ending, really taught me something and really aided into making me the woman that I am today. And I can say as much as they learned from me, I learned from them, and we did something great for each other. And when it was really good, it was really good, and we probably had a blast. So I'm not really into having regrets. Like, I don't really think I have them because they all did something.
So not YG, because that record you wrote, it seemed like you would have X'd out that relationship if you could have out of your life.
It ended in a poor experience that we're both sorry about, that we both wish didn't happen, but it was super beautiful until then. We had so much fun. Like, he was my first relationship after having a baby. He taught me how to come outside again and to have fun, and I was super confident, and he was super great at what is the word? Just making me feel super confident, making me feel super beautiful and like important and just like powerful. He walked me into business meetings and be like, the boss, sit down, listen. Like, he taught me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I taught him a lot. He's walking around telling people his birth chart and all about his astrology. I'm like, we're grateful for each other no matter what.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, speaking of like lessons learned, I think that you've been taught. One, happy Mother's Day in advance.
Yeah.
Because you're celebrating motherhood. And I wanted to ask you, what has motherhood taught you up to this point, in general and about yourself?
Motherhood has taught me just how important it is to always kind of speak good to yourself, because when you realize how you're like teaching a baby, it teaches you a lot about how you talk to yourself and how you teach yourself and how you treat adults around you as well. Like, when there's moments when I'm like, I wouldn't want someone to tell my child like, you're bad, you're being bad, or no, or you're doing this wrong, or you're being like this. Like, I realize like, oh, she might take that in and she might apply that to herself. Then I think about like, wow, do I talk to myself like that? Like, do I talk to other people like that? Or how are we all in the house communicating with each other to make sure that she's not picking it up? It's taught me a lot of patience. It's taught me that life is too short and just too precious, because of how fast, her life is moving. I feel like I was just pregnant. All of a sudden she's one and she's walking and destroying things. And it's taught me a lot. I can bring up a lesson applicable to every aspect of my life that comes from my daughter. So
that's what's up. Now, for those who just joining us, we talking to Kehlani. The project is out right now. It's called "It's All Good Till It Wasn't," and the lyric writing is very direct, and that's always been something that's been really like consistent about you through your whole career. Do you feel like you're one of those artists that has to always be going through something in order to get the best creative output, or do you feel like you work a lot better when you're in a happier space?
Well, I think that even when you're in a happy space, that falls under the category of going through something. It's just going through something happy. I think just even how I came into this world was not normal. So I'm not really destined to ever have just like a normal period of time throughout my life. I have a daughter, I have a love life, I'm a quote unquote celebrity. Like, there's so many aspects that I don't ever think I'm destined to not have something to write about. And then even then, it's like, look at the world. There's always something going on in the world. There's always something in the world you can pull from. There's always things you can pull from friends or people that you're witnessing, talking and having conversations and going things through. So, I mean, hopefully I don't have to have a stressed out life for the sake of art. I would hope that I just have a smooth ride from here.
Like some of our favorite R&B artists, it just seems like, they have to be like getting beaten every night and like, and it just be on the hardest drugs possible in order to get the best output. But it seems like with this one, like you in such a cool, relaxed space and you're just coasting into motherhood, but you're still talking savage. Like, I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, then and now, I finished the album like a couple months ago. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I wasn't relaxed then, but some of those songs were written in the harder times. And now I'm like very much out of that. I'm in a really good place. So I probably make some really nice songs right now, actually.
Have you ever listened back to a song and said, "Oh no, I've told too much"?
Uh, Definitely the Valentine's Day song. I was very scared about putting that out, but I knew I had to put that out because I was so heartbroken and I wanted people to stop. Like I knew because we had just been all lovey-dovey on Valentine's Day that the upcoming time was going to be people just still putting us together. And I just wanted to be very clear, like, I'm not involved in this. I'm very much out of this. I would want you guys to do a hard cut and stop associating me romantically. If it's X is cool. If it's negatively, I don't care at this moment, but stop. Don't do this lovey-dovey thing upcoming after Valentine's Day because it's just not what it is. And then, weeks later, I'm like, oh man, I sure did say a lot. But I also think that it was a moment in time, and this is what I had to get out for the moment. And I'm glad I got it out of my system because it made the conversations I had and the way I had to maneuver the situation in real life a lot softer because I got a lot of my emotion out in the studio.
Why did he respond when he heard that record?
He was like, man, the other one was better. The other one was more fun.
I bet.
Kehlani, have you ever been caught cheating or have you ever cheated on somebody and had to admit it?
Yeah, when I was a lot younger. I think now there's a lot of like boundaries that you can set with people where you let them know what kind of person you are up front or like what you want to deal with or what you don't want to deal with, whether you're into certain things or not. That kind of allows for people to not have cheating-based relationships, which was kind of the situation last, which is why I didn't speak up on many things that occurred publicly because it wasn't this super ruled up, situation.
Right.
Yeah, when I was a lot younger, before I went through a lot of things that had to make me just a more honest and more genuine and more upfront person in general, for sure. I think we've all been there at some point. Maybe. I mean, I hope not everyone.
We're all cheaters, Kehlani. Don't worry.
Yeah, we've all been through it.
We're gonna put some work in over here.
Now, real quick, when the record opened, right, it's a two-part song, and you talk about shooting your shot. And, to the, eyes looking across the distance, no one could ever imagine you having to shoot your shot. But have you ever shot your shot and had your shot blocked?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
When did, how, was it recent?
No.
Exactly.
A while ago. But I think it's also tricky because I also like women. So I've shot my shot at women who were just not interested in women and definitely got shot down. And they were just like, yeah, I like your music and you're really nice and it's really sweet. But no.
I don't like poom poom.
Oh, I respect it. Like, girl, my bad. I didn't know. I just had to ask. I just had to do the little ring.
Shot your shot, though.
Any guys shot you down? Like, nah.
I don't really shoot often at guys. I don't really go out my way. I don't know. Like it's honestly really rare that like I truly fully want to go after a guy. It's usually like we've been friends or we've known each other for a long time and then something happens to make us get together. My last relationship, we knew each other for 5 years. Like even before that, we'd known each other for a while. My relationship before that, we knew each other for a while. It's like not like usually like this, I'm somewhere and I'm like, he's fine, I'm about to make it happen. Like,
Oh, yeah, I think your mic went out for a sec.
you can hear me?
Now we can, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
I said, pretty girls make me nervous. Pretty guys make me nervous. I'm not the best at shooting, but I definitely shoot more at girls than I shoot at guys, for sure.
So there's something I wanted to ask you because this was going around in the blogs, and I'm pretty sure you knew that this was going to come. So, the whole situation with you and Kamaya / Keisha Cole, because I don't even know how that got involved as well. Now, I know that you and Kamaya was actually real friends.
Yeah.
And
tattoos.
y'all got matching tattoos. How does that feel when you let somebody in and then instead of them coming to you about the problem, it gets put on the blogs?
It's disappointing because it just makes me feel like if you really wanted to fix it or you really cared about a positive outcome, then like you would just hit me up. My number hasn't changed. And my response every single time was just, my number hasn't changed. My number hasn't changed. Like, you can hit me. Like, I reached out, not even on the internet. I reached out to her management. I reached out to people. I texted her, like, yo, you've been around my child. Like, you bought my daughter her diaper bag. Like, you were at my baby shower. Like, you like literally rocked my daughter to sleep. Like, this isn't a stranger type of situation. Like, we're real friends. We don't have to go about it this way. And then it just kept, like, I would text and then another response would come up on the internet. And then I would text and another, like, it didn't feel good, but I don't want to keep like this. I don't want to keep adding anything negative to the situation.
Yeah,
like,
right.
my only for the entire situation is that we come out at some point unified, because we're setting an example for little girls from our city. We're setting an example for little girls who want to grow up and be Kaya, little girls who want to grow up and be Kehlani. Like, we cannot show them that okay. And I think the only win in all of this, because there's no win if one of us is still upset. The only win for all of this is if we come to some type of meet in the middle term someday and say, you know what, this is not it. Like, how do we
Who do you think would be a good person to kind of like get in the middle? Do you think it would? Well, not YG, because she's not signed to him anymore. Is that behind this situation?
I'm not sure. She kind of had the same issues with him. She wasn't liking him either, and we both kind of felt like we had no idea what was going on. But that's neither here nor there, and that's
Right.
for them to sort out and figure out. But I don't know who can mediate it, because it was supposed to be Keisha.
Wow, well, that went bad.
They didn't work out with each other either, and then she didn't want to be in the video, and I had to figure that out, and I think that ruffled more feathers, and the song is cursed. And
She said the song is cursed.
I think we just need time. I think she just needs more time, and I'm fine. And then when anybody's ready to talk about it, I'm super down for it, and I'm ready to figure it out. So.
Well, that song may be cursed, but you have a new album called It Was Good Till It Wasn't that has a whole bunch of uncursed songs with curses on them. And if you want to play a game to celebrate the album, It Was Good Till It Wasn't, so it's a lightning round kind of game. We'll throw something out there. You tell us about things that were good till they weren't. All right, Kehlani, what TV show was good till it wasn't?
I'm thinking about this. Weeds.
I got to a point too where I just started watching it just because I just wanted to see how it was going to end, but it just got really ridiculous at some point. Nancy Botwin should have got killed a long time ago.
How many more things could they just put this girl through everything imaginable? Like, they raped logically for her to go through. Yeah, they got to kill her. They had to kill her at some point. They didn't. So,
can I ask you, because I know you're really big on your health and eating right. So give me one healthy vegan style food that was good till it wasn't.
Carrots, because I really like them raw, but I hate them cooked.
Me too. They're disgusting cooked.
They're just terrible.
Y'all cooking them wrong.
They're disgusting cooked. They're not supposed to be cooked.
Yo, with some honey and you roast them joints.
Hey man, hey, you know what you're doing?
You can hook some cooked carrots
I'm in
up
the kitchen.
now.
I'm in the kitchen.
Light skin, it must be a light skin thing, because I don't like cooked carrots either, but I'll tear up some raw carrots.
Yeah.
Hi, bugs.
Hey, I got one, Kehlani. Growing up in Oakland, living in Oakland, it was good till it wasn't.
Oh man, going to parties because it was fun, and then somebody shoot it up. So it's like that's
Town business.
to that point where you're like, I gotta start leaving every party at 10:30, 10:45, because I know it's up. Like,
oh no,
which is super foul. Like, so yeah.
A night with tequila was good till it wasn't.
Yeah, the when you start versus when you don't know how to stop and then you sleep on the bathroom floor.
Has that happened to you? Have you woke up on the bathroom floor?
Just turned 25, and I haven't drank in so long because, I don't know, drinking hard liquor in the house during the quarantine just don't make me feel right. It make me feel like I got a problem or something. So I just been fine, real cute. So the household, and we got quite drunk for my birthday. And I definitely everybody was so amped up, like, oh my God, another one. Oh my God, here's another one. Okay, another shot. I was like, okay, next thing I know, I'm on the bathroom floor going, I hate this.
Now living on the West Coast, Kehlani, the culture is privy to everything. Y'all get a lot of things first, especially drugs. What drug was good till it wasn't?
Don't do drugs, but I had faces younger for sure. But because it was good until it wasn't.
Right.
I think I did Molly or something like some years ago. That was my best friend's birthday, and it was great until it was the worst experience of my life.
When did it turn? What happened?
When did it turn? What is the come down?
No, it was probably when it hit the hardest. And then I'm like the mom friend. So I think a lot of my friends were struggling, and it was just really overwhelming because I didn't know how to help everybody at the same time. And I was like,
and you had to help yourself.
You need water, and you need to go to bed, and you sweat. And I was freaked out. And ever since then, I have not touched nothing because it's freaking terrifying. I will never forget that feeling of being like, oh, everybody's just probably gonna die, and I'm just gonna be here. Like,
oh my goodness.
That sounds like me off an edible right there.
Yes, she takes one edible.
And she's our resident
I was scared to death, yo. I was scared.
I don't do that. I don't smoke weed. Like, I can't.
Well, that's good. All right. Well, how about having a girlfriend was good till it wasn't?
Oh, having a girlfriend is so nice until y'all get heated and you realize, like, y'all might could fight because, like, girls, like, which is not okay. It's still a domestic situation, so it's still, like, it could still go south and be, a step away and considered domestic violence, and it can get really, really out of pocket. But when you're mad with another girl, that immediate kind of like stopping that you might have when it's like a grown man standing in front of you, that thing might not always come up. I've never fought any of my girlfriends, but I've definitely had the moments where I'm like, whoa, we could fight right now. Then there's nothing in my mind saying that we can't. Like,
it's a fair fight right here.
Technically, but that team never hit your partner ever in life, girl, boy, none of it. It's just not. It's not.
Unless y'all in the same weight class, then it's legal.
You gotta know your limits.
Ma'am.
You feel terrible.
Kehlani, they say you got to roll, but thank you so much for giving us your time and your energy. Thank you for dropping this album on us. We want to touch a couple things off here. Let's start with one. What song you want to hear?
Might as well play Open.
Let's get open then.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, this beautiful individual goes by the name of Kehlani. Thank you for rolling with us on the Morning Hustle. And be safe out there. Mother's Day weekend, okay?
For sure. Happy Mother's Day to if there's any mommies in here.
Dog moms.
Oh, none. Okay.
Moms.
So she qualifies.
Happy Mother's Day to y'all mamas.
We are the Morning Hustle.